We're up to our next speaker, and before we introduce our next speaker, I would love to have our evaluator, Shawnté, tell us what he's up to. Shawnté.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster, and hello, my masters of evaluation. I would say better late than never, but no, Mr. G's speech is going to be right on time. There's going to be no micro of information. And yes, I got all of those out there in the beginning. But yes, Harold G is going to talk to us about motivation. His speech is entitled The Second Half, and I'm excited to hear everything that he is going to say, because like I said, he has no micro of information to share with us. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Well, fellow Toastmasters, Harold G doesn't need introduction. We all know who he is, and frankly, I don't have an introduction for you, Harold. So without a bunch of mega complaining and explaining, I just want to hear what you have to say. Fellow Toastmasters, Harold G.
Hello, Toastmaster. Before we start, I just want to let everyone know that the reason I have my hand raised is to let everyone know the timing is taking place in that area. Is that okay?
That's where it belongs.
Cool. Thank you.
Oh, fellow Toastmasters, masters of evaluation. Let me share a little micro information about my speech. I found a story, a small story, in a book titled Worldwide Laws of Life by John Marks Templeton. Now, some of you will know the name Templeton is familiar. He was a great investor at one time, died a millionaire. Anyway, I changed the title from "You Can If You Want to Perseverance. And I want to transport you from today back to the Middle Ages, that 1290. And this is about Robert, the first king of Scotland. You know, King Robert was a warrior king, but he had a monumental problem. The problem was the English wanted to take over his country. And Robert was not having that. Now, the English had an occasional stage surprise raids on his castle. One night, Robert had to leave and run for his life so he wouldn't be taken as a prisoner. And he took refuge in a cave. And why was in a cave? He was in deep depression. He was wondering what would his next move be. Not only that, he was thinking to himself, what have I come to? Robert was not only king, he was known as a warrior king. That's right, Robert could really fight. But he was in the cave, and what he noticed while he was in the cave was a spider. And he was looking at the spider spin its web. He was thinking to himself, the spider is an intelligent creature because where he's spinning the web is a little opening where a little draft of air comes through. But he said the spider can't be that intelligent. He's too small to spin a web and cover that area. Now, while he was watching the spider, he noticed this. Before the spider would launch himself, he would pause, stand absolutely still, not do anything, and then proceed. He would miss hundreds of times, but eventually he spun the web. In the process of watching this spider, King Robert was thinking to himself, you know, I've been thinking about how big the English are, more of them than more of us. But watching the spider, he decided, I'm going to still my mind. I'm going to let all of the anxiety, all of the negative thinking disappear. And then I'm going to focus on what I can do to better myself. In the process, King Robert stilled his mind, got calm. Because the spider did three things. He stilled himself, he calmed himself, he launched himself. Okay, King Robert steeled himself and decided he was going to work as hard as he could to get his land back, get his people back. And he was going to do it. Focus on that day in and day out. Now keep in mind, remember, the spider had numerous failures, but the spider never stopped trying. He persevered. King Robert persevered until he consolidated his position, and the Scottish people demanded independence, and the English gave it to them in 1328. Now, what is that? Now, what can you learn from that? I'll tell you what you can learn. You do have a quality, just like that spider, just like King Robert. You can stop, calm yourself, practice tolerance, practice patience, and practice perseverance. No matter how you feel, you're walled in. You're trapped. You can't get out, no matter how much you feel that way. Be like King Robert, because King Robert was thinking in that cave, hey, the English are twice as big as we are. What can I do? When he got calm, his mind said, why don't you start thinking about what you have in your favor? You're smaller, you're faster, you're quicker. And King Robert, keep in mind, kept trying until he got independence. If you are trapped, focus on what you want. Calm yourself. No, be absolutely still. Just be still for a while and get an idea. What do you want? Okay, Harold. So I want a heavily luxury vehicle. What can I do to get it? Save my money. Okay, never mind. Forget about me. Go back to King Robert's. You can change your life, but you have to be persistent. You have to be focused. You have to develop a plan of action. And then when you fail, you do not start arguing with yourself. You just try to adjust the plan. Keep moving forward. One football player said he became good because his coach told him he wanted to see 2% improvement each time he practiced. 2%! That's right. Little by little, you'll get there. So you should try to have a plan of action, calm yourself, focus, and you will finally, hopefully, reach your goal. But be relentless, because keep in mind, King Robert was depressed. He was defeated, but he did not accept it. You do not have to be accepted in being walled in. You are transcendent. You have imagination, and that's a great power to have. Imagination is power, and use your imagination, your spirit. It makes you great. Fellow Toastmasters and Masters of Evaluation. That's my little talk for today.
I loved it. Harold, thank you so much. What a great speech. Madam Timer, could we please, if we could, have 90 seconds to write a quick evaluation and send it off Harold's way?
Yes, indeed. 90 seconds starts right now.
Okay, let's move on. Our next evaluator is Shawnté Howard, and she's going to evaluate Harold Gee's speech. Shawnté, you're on.
Thank you so much, Madam General Evaluator. And thank you, Harold. I had no doubt that you were going to wow us with your mega speech, with mega inspiration and mega takeaways. So thank you for that fantastic speech. You started off with greeting everybody, but also letting us know about this book, Worldwide Laws of Life by John Templeton, which I did look up, by the way, so it is going to be something that I will read. So thank you so much for letting us know about that book. You talked about King Robert, and how he was the first king of Scotland, but you also talked about in the way that he persevered. So you talked about that he was this great king, he was this mighty king, but he got pushed out of his country by the English because they had this raid where he had to go run and hide in a cave. You talked about how he went into this deep depression and how he had to think about what his next move was. But he was inspired by this spider. And in watching the spider, he was able to come up with the process. Well, he watched the spider actually pause, be still, launch himself, and then try to make this web. And in that, he was inspired to be still, but to also to make his next move. You talked about the negativity that he had in himself, but by being still and calm and launching his next plan, he was able to overcome, even though that he had his failures. I think this was a great story. We all can relate to it on some level because we've all had challenges in life that maybe we felt depression or felt weak and have overcome them in some way. So I would say thank you for giving us this speech. It was absolutely amazing. And if I could give you any feedback, which of course you are a great communicator, so I can only give you some bit of feedback, not a lot because it was a great speech. But the first feedback I would say is that you talked a lot about you talked in the beginning about the book of Universal Laws of Life. I can't talk today. Universal Laws of Life. I would have loved you to correlate the story to maybe one of those laws within the book, because as I Googled the book, there are 6 very specific laws that they give. So maybe you can let us how this story fit into those laws. Is it that, you want your thoughts have real power? Is it that you get what you give? Let us know which law that it correlates to so that we can kind of apply it to our lives and our thinking. Second is you gave us a great action item. You said that when you fail, adjust the plan, keep moving forward. I would love to hear how you failed in your life, how you adjusted the plan, and then how you failed forward, how you took King Robert's story and applied it to you in your today life or some event that has happened in your past. And last, but definitely not least, I'm going to see, and this is me just nitpicking a little bit, I would say, give us your speech information in advance, Mr. Harold G, so that we can introduce you properly, but also it saves you that 1 minute of you having to explain what your speech is about because I've explained it for you or whoever is evaluating you, and it gives you an extra minute to add in that personal story and that extra personal touch. But thank you. Looking forward to hearing it again. Back to you, Madam General Evaluator.